Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this episode we make a time lapse of a sunset in Paris. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs and welcome to episode 98 of my photography, Lightroom and Photoshop tips. My name is Serge Ramelli et je suis un photographe parisien, but I speak the English language. Last week I showed you how I retouch a photo from the Canal Saint-Martin, one of my preferred area of Paris. This is the final result, and the whole idea was to show you the retouch, but also how I erase some elements on the photo. This week we are going to do something that a lot of people have been requesting, a time lapse, but not any time lapse, a time lapse of a sunset in Paris. You can see the result as I'm talking, and we're going to use a special Lightroom plugin where there is a very nice free version, and I'm going to show all that to you right now. Here we go. All right, guys. So before we get started, I just want to show you something new. If you go to News and Partner, you have I have a lot of people that write me and they say that they want to, maybe promote my blog on their blog or my courses. Or, anyways, if you want to partner with me and help promote my course, that would be lovely. That would really be helpful. And you can even make money with it because I will give you 15% commission on any sales you make. And the way it works is all you have to put is your name and email and your website, how much monthly visitors you think you have, and then my webmaster will contact you and install everything for you. So it's pretty easy. He prepared a whole bunch of nice ads. And yeah, that's just a way for me to expand, and your help would be very grateful, and you can make a little money. Now today we're going to talk about time lapse, and there is a lot of source files that I'm going to give you for free. And to get them, you have to go to News, sign up, and you just put name and email, and you will get what we call the goodies page. This is how it looks. That's the goodies page. The goodies page, you have every episode that I have done. You can view the episode and download the raw files, or in this case, I'm going to give you for free 165 photos. Which is JPEG files. It's not going to be raw files, but this is what I shot with. So, anyways, and if you don't have, you've already subscribed and you lost the link. Well, you just have to, again, sign up and it will give you the link to this page. Voila. So now let's get to the tutorial. Now, before we get to the tutorial in Lightroom, you have to install a plugin, which you will get from my friend Gutner Wegner. He's got an amazing plugin for Lightroom. It's called lrtimelapse.com. I will put the link in the description of the video, below the video. LR for Lightroom, timelapse.com. Very easy. And the thing is that Adobe changed a lot the way they would export the time lapse between Lightroom 4 and Lightroom 5. So you really have to use this plugin. Now his plugin is not free, but there is an amazing evaluation version which you can get, which you can make time lapse up to 400 photos. And so you can really try it out. Like for example, this whole tutorial, you will be able to do it with the free version of his plugin. And so to get it, you just go to download. And so if you are Windows or Mac, you just click on whatever you need. And it's very straightforward. You just follow the steps. You know, it's like any software to download. Just make sure you restart Lightroom before using it. That's the only thing you need to do. And it's very easy. And I'm going to show you how to use this software. And you will see it's really easy. So let's get started. First, let me explain you how I shot this, because one of the key things to make time lapse is exposure troubles. If you make time lapse during the day, it's very easy, and you probably should start by that if you're not into time lapse. But if you want to do a stunning, amazing time lapse of sunset, for me it's the hardest thing to do. And I will explain you how I did this time lapse. Now, in terms of gear, all I used was a tripod to be very stable and a remote. I had the simple remote, Canon remote. It's actually the wire remote. And I did not use a special remote for time lapse where you can program, how many seconds you want. I just did this by hand. Now, if you're getting more and more, you should use one of these spatial time-lapse remote. But, this is just to get you started. Now, first thing is you have to, there's a little checklist to start. You have to make sure that you focused on your scene and that once you're focused, you go into manual focus. Very important. That's point number one. Point number two, you have to be in manual mode. The reason for this is that you're going to take a lot of photos, and if you're into AV mode, the camera is going to reevaluate for each photo the scene. Now let's say that there is a cloud coming here, which is a bit darker for a second. It's going to give different exposures. And what that's going to give you at the end is what we call flickering. Your time-lapse is not going to be very smooth. It's going to be flickering. Now the way I did this was pretty wild because, so I was manual. If you look at the datum, I put F16 on it. Why do I put F16? Because I know that boats were going to come by, and I wanted everything to be a bit, you know how I like the water to be a bit silky, and I wanted some good blending with the boat. So I forced in F16, and I was at 1 point. It gave me a 1.3 second, right? So then I started to shoot by hand. All I was doing was like every 3 or 4 seconds, I was doing a photo. Now, a lot of people ask me, what's the best value? 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds? It really depends. But just to get you started, I'll give you a rule that has worked well for me. If there is a lot of wind, go for 3 seconds. If there is not so much wind, go for 5 seconds. But you know what? I did this, by hand without counting. So if you look at the first photo, and I'm going to put... So this one was taken at 8:09 p.m. at 53 seconds. The next one was taken actually a lot later on at, this one was what? 9:53 seconds. This one was at 10:04. So there was a lot of seconds between these two. And then on this one, I was 5 seconds later. This one, 8 seconds later. This one, 7 seconds later. So it's not good to do that. You should really do like every 5 seconds. But I was just doing click, 1, 2, 3, click. It was a bit random. I was just trying to get about 5 seconds because there was not a lot of wind. So it was not needed to take a lot of photos. So at the end, I had 165 photos, but on purpose, I started about 10 minutes or 15 minutes before the city lights went on. So let's look at how it goes. Now, one thing that's happening is that, let me press I again, is that the sun was coming down and everything was getting darker. So if you look at this, I'm at 1.3 of a second, 1.3 of a second, F16, 1.3 of a second, F16, 1.3 of a second, 16. At one point, it was really getting dark, It was just getting dark because you know how sunsets are. It gets dark very fast. So what I did is, I'm just clicking, but you will see at one point, I made the exposure a bit longer. I went from 1.3 to I think 1.6 or something. Yeah, here it is. Okay, let me show you. Now I'm at 1.6. So all I did is by hand, without moving the camera, I went from this photo to this photo. I went from 1.3 to 1.6, 1.3 to 1.6. Okay, because it was getting darker, so I increased the exposure by hand to make it a bit brighter. Then I waited a little bit. You should, wait 2-3 minutes. I waited 2-3 minutes that it was going to get even more darker. Okay. And so I just waited, I just was taking a shot. Now here comes the boat. That was nice. Here comes the boat. Here comes the boat. So I waited. And 2 seconds now between these two, this one and this one, I went from 1.6 as I was getting really dark. So boom, between these two shots. So if you look at the time, this was taken at 15 minutes and 11 seconds, and this one was taken at 15 minutes and 16 seconds. So I only took 6 seconds between these two. But just, I know my camera very well, and I just increased the time, Again, let me show you. I went from, 1.6 to 2.0. And it was getting darker, and it was getting darker. So on this one, I went from 2.0 to 2.5 because it was getting darker, And I continue. And all of a sudden, the lights of the city started to come on. Notre Dame started to come on. And I was like really happy, But now, okay, at the end, I think, here, I went from 2 seconds to 2.5. And so you try to just, make 1/3 of an aperture of speed. You just try to move one item, Then I went from 2.5 to 3.2 because it was getting really dark. And then I went from 3.2 to 4.0, and that was the end of it, okay? And then that's how I finished. That was my last photo. So I was just increasing the time as it was getting darker, completely by hand, completely with my visual perception, and that's it. So it's actually pretty easy to do. Just make sure you don't move your camera while you change the time. You are on manual. You have to know which switch to change the time on your camera, and just, go very gentle. And every 2-3 minutes, as it gets darker, just increase the exposure. Okay, and that's shooting a sunset. And that's the hardest time lapse to do, but it's also the nicest one. Okay, now we are ready to retouch our time lapse. So the first thing to do before we do anything in Lightroom, we have the photos in Lightroom. Could be JPEGs, could be RAW file. In this case, it's JPEG. I jump into this amazing plugin, LR Time-Lapse. I'm using currently 3.2.1. And it looks complex, but it's not. On the left side, you have a preview of the time-lapse. You can actually view it, which is cool, but that's the untouched version. And the first thing you have to do is select a square of where you think the light is going to change the most. So usually I go like this. I just take a bit of sky and a bit of the bottom part of the photo, so it's gonna do its thing. Okay, so well, actually the first thing was to click initialize, which is gonna make sure everything is at 0. Okay. Second thing is you make your little square, which is gonna recalculate the brightness value. Then you press the keyframe wizard, and that's gonna put some keyframes using the star system in Lightroom. I'm gonna show you this in a second, and then you press save. So it's really, you don't have to think. It's 1, 2, 3. That's it. This initialized everything. This put some keyframes, and this saved it. Now, what do I mean by keyframes? Well, let me show you. You will see that some photos now, first I have to select everything, right-click, metadata, and read metadata from file. Okay, read metadata from text file. Yes, read. And all that's gonna do at this stage is gonna read the keyframe from the plugin. Now, to see the keyframe, the best thing is to filter all your photos that has 1 star and plus. And if I do that, oops, no filter, 1 star and plus, there it is. Okay, I can see, now you can see that some is retouched. That's because I tried this before, but now it's gonna, reset everything. Okay, so the first photo is going to have a keyframe, a star rating of 1. And the last photo is going to have a star rating of 1. Now, some photo is going to have a 2 and some photo is going to have a 3. Why is that? Well, remember in the video I showed you how I changed the aperture? Well, it detected that. So you see here, this is the photo that went from 1.3, it's got a 2 star, and the 3 star, it went to 1.6. So every time I change the aperture, the photo before it put a 2 star and the photo after it put a 3 star. So I know exactly, all the moments I change the aperture, which is really, now this is something you will not have if you do like a daylight, because you just have the same exposure the whole way. But here I had to change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times my exposure to just match the sun that was coming down. So you will see it's very easy. All you have to do is retouch the first photo. So we open up the shadows, bring down the highlights. I'm going to do my white point. I'm going to do my black point. I'm going to add some clarity, vibrance, saturation. Just make it look good, Exposure, that's kind of fine. I think I'm going to use maybe an ND filter. Oh, there is already one there. The software put some ND filter, so I'm just going to make this maybe a bit more blue, a bit more magenta, and lower the exposure. So there is already an ND filter, the software, the plugin has put, so I am putting one there. And then I'm just going to probably just do some post-crop vignetting. Okay. And sharpening and noise reduction. Sharpening, I'm just going to... So when it's a small JPEG, I usually sharpen around 50. There is no noise. I'm just going to put some 50 sharpening. And that's it. Maybe just some masking so that it only sharpens the edges. And well, you can see my other videos on retouching. I'm going fast because it's already going to be a long video. But okay, you just have to make something that's pleasing. So added some contrast, shadows, highlights, did my white points and my black points, added some clarity, vibrance, and saturation, and that's about it. Okay, now that I've retouched the first photo to my liking, okay, I'm gonna Command-Shift-C to put this into memory. I'm gonna copy. Then I'm gonna take my first photo, which got this 2-star, and I'm gonna press Command-V. And I'm gonna look at it. Okay, do I like it? Yeah, it's a bit dark, so I'm gonna boost a bit the exposure, just slightly, and maybe lower a bit the contrast. But I like that. And so now I'm gonna redo Command-Shift-C, copy that, and I'm gonna Command-V on the next one. Now, between these two photos, make sure you don't change much, maybe just lower, no, not even, just don't touch so much. So you just continue. So now I'm going to take this, I took this value, which I copied there. I didn't change anything there. So I'm going to just Command-V again. So we have the same value. Now, if you make a change, like, okay, I'm going to make it a bit brighter and I'm just going to start going a bit magenta. If you make a change like I did here, press Command-Shift-C, copy everything, and then Command-V, what you did before, okay? It's getting a bit brighter from this photo to this photo, so maybe I'm gonna lower a little bit this one, okay? Even more, all right, Command-Shift-C, copy, and Command-V. So I always copy whatever I did before in the next one. If I like it, yeah, this one I like it, maybe gonna make it a bit brighter. If you do any changes, you have to re-put into memory, Command-Shift-C, copy. If you don't make any changes, you don't have to re-put it. So Command-V, okay, I like that. It's getting a bit brighter, so I'm going to lower it. So I made a change, so Command-C, copy. Okay, Command-V. All right, it's getting darker. So I'm going to make it like this. Command-C, because I changed something, Command-V. And you have to go the whole way. This time it's city lights are coming on. I'm not going to do anything on this one. Okay, Command-V. I'm not going to do anything on this one. Command-V. Okay. And the last photo, Command-V. Okay, the last photo is a bit dark, so I'm going to increase the exposure. But I want it to be dark. It was getting really dark at the end. Okay, so now all this is retouched. So I'm going to right-click, Metadata, save metadata to files, continue. So what that's going to do is that it's going to basically create a little file, okay, a little file with all this retouching. Now I go back to Alarm Time-Lapse and I've retouched my photo, so I need to click on reload, and that is gonna load all the retouching that I did, okay? And then I'm gonna click on auto transition, which is gonna make a transition between all this retouching. And then I'm gonna click on save, which is now, because it made a transition between all these keyframes of retouching, it's gonna smooth out my entire retouching. So now, so it's just 1, 2, 3, do your retouching, and 1, 2, 3. Then you go back to Lightroom, you take the filter off so that you have all your photos selected, Command A, right click, metadata, read metadata from file, read. So now, the software, the plugin retouched all the photos based on my instructions. Check it out. It's all retouched, and very smoothly between all the photos. Okay, so that's kind of cool. It's all retouched. Now we are ready to export and make our time lapse. So for this, you have to go to the library module. You have to click on export. Okay, you come to this. I'm going to call this Notre Dame time-lapse. I'm going to call it 3 because I already tried it twice. And I'm going to click on export. Okay, and what that's going to do is that it's going to render every file. Let me show it to you in the Finder. You will see it's going to render, it's going to create a JPEG for every photo. Every photo. It's going to render. So we have to wait a bit. There's 165 files, so I'm going to put on pause until it's done rendering and exporting every single photo. But it's all automatic. You don't have to do anything. I'm just showing it to you so you see like the backstage of the plugin. All right, so once all the photos have been rendered, you get a message, render task was submitted to LR Time-Lapse. So it's time to jump back into LR Time-Lapse, and now you've got the render video. And this was this step that could be done in Lightroom 4, and now that we have to use this free plugin because he's giving this for free actually, the render video. So you can choose 720p or 1080p frame rate that you want. I advise you to take 24. It's a good, it's a good cinematic movie-like frame rate. And quality, I go high and render video. And now it's going to render video, and that process is pretty fast. And of course, there's a lot more to it, and I will make further videos and probably like a full course on making time-lapse. But that was just a little introduction on something which is really hard, which is to make nice sunset time-lapse. It's so much easier during the day because you don't have to do all this keyframing. But it's actually not that hard, and that's what I wanted to show you. So now I'm ready to show this to you, and here you go. Now, it's pretty good. I love the drama about it, and it would not be possible without that plugin. I'll show it to you again. I love this one. It's not so long. It's 6 seconds long, but it's it's a pretty dramatic, nice sunset time lapse. So check it out. Check this lrtimelapse.com website. It's amazing if you're into time lapse. You must have this plugin. It's not possible to do anything without it. Thank you very much, and let's get back to the studio. Alright guys, I hope you like this tutorial. It's very fun to do time-lapse, and they can create amazing videos. And whether it is for weddings or for portraits, a photographer should have the time-lapse tool in his bag. Okay guys, if you want to partner with me, just send me an email and we can work together, and that'd be very nice. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next episode.